There we go. Yeah. Yeah. Might be one little beat.
And I just want to say thank you to everybody that's still here from transportation for helping us get caught up on time.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. It is. Okay. All right. It is. I would like to call this Capital Improvements and IT Committee to order. It is 9:15. Julie, could you start us off with the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Chair, it's 10:15.
And-
10.
Oh, did I say 9:15? It is 10:15. I'm sorry. It is 10:15. And see, now my brain is going through the, and right now my brain is going through the, preamble, because that's what you do after you say the prayer. So, okay, I'm done with that now. Can I get a roll call, please, Sandy? Yes, I can. Thank you.
Oxley,
Yes.
Balich, Brooks,
Yeah.
Bullock, Costa, Revis, Freeman.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Next up, we have approval of minutes from April 1st at 10 a.m. We have a motion from Brooks. Can I get a second, please? Second from Bullock. Can I get a roll call?
Oxley,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yeah.
Bullock,
Yes.
Costa, Freeman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next up is old business. We have our facilities update. Good morning, sir.
Morning, everybody.
And there you go.
Jump right into the court annex level 2 renovations. Design status was complete. Construction date is still yet to be determined. State's attorney is doing the approval on it. and then it will go out for bid once we receive it back from the state's attorney. Land use and public defenders consolidation, we're consolidating from 4 floors into 2. That is being done by the management company and the owner of the building. It's just about 50% completed on the 3rd floor, and within 5 weeks, the project should be completed, and everybody should be in the position that they're meant to be and desired. The VA Assistance Commission build-out, that's the old Copperfield building. The roof has been completed and the glazing work is just about finished on the exterior. Tim, there's a lot of slides with this one. It was quite a big roof. We took off the stone ballast and reclaimed all that stone for other parts of the county for landscaping. These new roofs don't use the ballast like the previous style roofs did. The build out on that for the VA, mechanical, electrical, and the head end for the operating equipment is being put together as we speak. Harbor was the contractor that won the bid to be the general on the project. We're anticipating a pretty quick start date. I would say within the next 30 days. And this is going to be a quick turnaround project for the parts of the building we are building out. And we're looking at having the VA, Veterans Administration, into that building before their lease is up at their current site.
When is that?
It's in, I want to say October, but I
I
don't
thought
have
it
the
was like
exact date.
September or October?
Yes.
I just want to be clear,
Member
we're not
Crainer?
talking about the Veterans Administration, we're talking about the Veterans Assistance Council?
Correct. I'm sorry.
Okay, all right, just want to make sure we're not
Yeah.
talking about the feds.
No, my fault.
Since they're firing everybody, I didn't think they needed any more office space.
Thank you.
The county worked with the UACE, Department of Army Corps of Engineers. There were 6 homes in a floodplain that were acquired by the county through a grant funding that were demolished in the last 2 weeks and made green space that were historically flooded on a regular basis. My first time dealing with this kind of a project. We had more pictures, but unfortunately we couldn't get them to Sandy on time to put them in the slide. We'll bring them up for the next meeting
Where are these located at?
in the south end of Plainfield on the DuPage River.
So do we know what like road or anything that they're on? That's
I-
my district. I was just curious.
I can send that to you after the meeting.
That would be appreciated because I know we have a lot of floodplains. I do get calls on people, but I don't think this is where I'm thinking it is. So I was just curious. Member Trainer?
Yeah, just another question on that kind of project. There was supposed to be some things happening in Bolingbrook on the eastern branch of the DuPage, and I'm just wondering what the status of that is at all.
I have
guess
no
they need to
knowledge.
go to The Stormwater Committee meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank
And
you.
then on the next, Sunny Hill was able to purchase all new beds for all the residents, and we fixed, repaired, and made usable all the old beds. And a few of them went to the Joliet Junior College for their nursing project program to teach. And a lot of them went out of the country to other environments, but all the beds were repurposed, along with probably about 90% of the mattresses because they were on a newer, but we sent them all over the country, and that was all done in-house. Auditor's Department, we put a door in that we found to be needed after all this time of being in this building as another emergency exit through the building to an exterior door instead of going through the department out into the hallway and around. And again, this installation was done in-house. The CAC, Child Advocacy Center, they had a program last week, 2 weeks ago, I should say, with pinwheels for the children that have been abused. It was a very big event, countywide, all the counties that deal with any type of abuse with the children. A lot of sponsors. It was a very nice event, very well attended.
We have a hand raised in the back and she's coming forward. But I had ran into Mrs. Lass, I think it's her last name. And I cannot remember what there was a need with the children's advocacy. Did she meet with you?
Ms. Lass?
Yes.
Yes,
Are we able to,
we will be able to accommodate, right?
okay, what was her request?
The request is a finding, if you will, where they want to have a nurse practitioner.
That's right.
We're gonna build out a suite in there that they will be able to do evaluations properly.
A medical room that they can do.
Correct. We're
um,
just in the very beginning stages of that.
Right, for sexually abused.
I don't know what
anybody
kind of
knows,
abuse,
yes.
but yes,
Because that way they don't have to transport them.
to
Yes,
Silver
I remember
Cross,
that conversation.
correct.
Okay. Thank you. Member O'Connell.
Yeah, I was wondering, for the pinwheel event, I don't know that we were told about it. Do you know if you can let us know that these events are happening like that?
Certainly.
Because you guys are aware, because you do setup and stuff like that.
This actually came from Garland Mays, the Director for Community Involvement,
Okay,
and we just help. actually
right, I
hang
know you
bands
guys do,
and-
right,
yeah.
sure. Yeah, because we didn't know, so maybe we can look into that, you guys, so that the county board members, because could be aware of it. I wasn't aware that
I
this
want to say
happened.
it was on the county executive's monthly newsletter.
It might have been, but still, county board member could be informed via an email so that we're aware of it.
I will,
No, I don't think
Have
that's a big
forward.
ask. I don't think it's a big ask, just to let us know in case we don't see the newsletter.
And sometimes we get them like a day before.
Sometimes we do.
all right.
All right, continue on, Bill.
Life safety program, we've had 5 or 6 departments through. We do this Wednesday, 2 times a day, a morning session at 10 and an afternoon session at 1. If your department has not been contacted, please reach out to Philip or myself, and we will get you scheduled for the AED training as well as CPR. And we do that right across the street at the old CAC building, which is now the facilities building. Again, snapshot in the day of facilities, making sweeping changes at a lot of the buildings. 720 work orders last month. Works out to about 1850 per work order, considering the amount of money that was spent previously and just calling a contractor and doing what we are doing now in-house. Again, we're receiving, I hate to, toot our own horn, but we're receiving accolades on a regular basis from all the different departments. So there's one here printed at the bottom from an executive director at River Valley.
Couple things I didn't see. Update on the courthouse. It's still scaffold.
Courthouse, the windscreen came down this week. We're hoping to have by week's end the actual report from the 2 investigative engineering firms, ESI and Wishtani. We're hoping to have that by week's end. We don't know anything more than what I spoke to you about last
Okay.
time, except for that we're in the process of removing stone and putting the summation together for the county board.
And is the sidewalk fixed?
Sidewalk.
At the old courthouse, there was a
That
sidewalk.
plaza, I'm glad you brought that up. Had that on a side note. We have a contractor. The low bid was Torch Construction. And the work is going to start the day after the Policeman's Memorial, which is tomorrow. And hopefully 10 days before the first farmer's market has to set up, we'll have the sidewalk complete.
Excellent, because we don't want any.
No,
accidents
no,
there.
that's going to happen real fast.
Wonderful. Mr. Brooks.
Bill,
Yes, sir.
back to the beginning. Public Defender's Office moving into land use. Did I hear you say that the owner, which is I think John Bays, is doing the build out and there's no cost to us?
Correct.
Oh, that's a good thing.
It is a very good
It's,
thing.
well, I shouldn't say no cost. It's going to be, we're shortening up the square footage considerably by
Okay,
consolidation. So there will be an adjustment in the lease amount to accommodate for some of these changes.
great. John Bates
Nothing's-
can afford it. Thank you.
Nothing's for free is what I just
Yeah,
heard.
and he gets rents every month, lots of it.
And then the last one I wanted to ask about is I know that they've been doing for the needs facilities assessment. They've been interviewing. Are they almost done with all those?
We're probably
the
two-thirds,
departments.
we're probably 2/3 of the way through.
That's
On
fine.
the space needs, we were going to meet this week, probably on Thursday. And then we're going to try melding the mechanical along with the space and see where we're at per building. But that'll be a meeting this coming Thursday.
That's really, I think you guys are moving along quite
They are
nicely.
moving quickly, yes.
Does the committee have any other questions for Mr. Fern? None? Thank you.
Absolutely.
I look forward to seeing pictures of a new sidewalk.
Be done shortly. 10 days start to finish.
Oh, I hope I can answer it, Jackie. Member
So-
Trainer.
Yes, thank you. Since this is capital and IT, where are we at with, did we ever get the payroll system fixed? All the software that we were going to purchase, do you know?
Mr. Fern, do you know the answer to that question? I've seen a head shake and it's still in the process. I'm hearing from Marcy that it is still in the process, so no, it's not finished yet.
You know, seems to be taking forever.
I
Okay,
would assume it's going to take a lot with the training once it finally gets there.
okay, thank you.
I'm almost turned me off. That's habit. We have no other old business. We have new business and this has, there were questions from Mr. Richmond who, look at you, you just joined the party again. Mr. Richmond had some questions and concerns about this one. It had come forward at, I don't remember where we talked about it, but it's now here with us. So if I can get a motion and a second, let's get this out open for discussion. Motion Ballich. Second Brooks, and now we have discussion. You did get a handout with all the questions and the responses from, I do believe Jeff Ronaldson. So that's Jim, you're on. Oh, I'm supposed to read this, aren't I? Number one, authorizing approval of the form of contract for acquisition of the county of certain parcels of real property situated along Governor's Highway in Hellman subdivision in the village of Moni. And I had my first and my second. I did that backwards, sorry. Go ahead, Jim.
That's all right. So actually, after this discussion, I do have some comments that piggyback off the IT questions too. So
Okay,
I don't want to derail what you're doing right now. So, so the reason I brought up a bunch of questions, I'll say 10 days ago or so to Jeff is because then I was getting bombarded. And we've talked about before is trying as the leaders to try and aggregate the questions and then route them in the right direction. So that's what I tried to do this time. Hopefully it worked out for you, Jeff, and the rest of the staff. So, and it's questions in regards to this property, the acquisition and that. So I'll let you just kind of run with it. I was up here for the IT portion.
did you get all the answers that you?
Well, I got all
needed for
I got all the
your-
answers. I forwarded them out to everybody that asked questions. So now I'm sure if they've got questions, they're gonna bring
Okay,
it forward. So
Jeff, I have a feeling you're going to need to come on up, sir.
hey, I don't want to derail the conversation.
Yeah, we'll come back to your IT though, I promise. Your chair, vice chair, yours just comes on. I don't have to turn you on.
Okay.
Mr. Uxley.
Yeah, some of the questions that have came up are, do we need the bigger facility? And there's 2 pages on this with, and there's comments all across the board from our board members. One of the things in here is, it's on a 4-ton weight limit road, the existing facility. Well, that's grandfathered and aren't public works vehicles exempt from weight limit?
Not
Oh,
necessarily.
I'm sorry, Jeff, hold on.
No, not necessarily. Like fire trucks have some measure of liability. If they go over bridges, they're not waived from that. So yes and no. But
Okay,
yeah, we are grandfathered in there, yes.
right, we're grandfathered in, but I think they're exempt. Whereas fire trucks, school buses, garbage trucks,
Snow plow.
snowplows are exempt. So
But we have other equipment besides snowplows, so,
Right,
but yeah, we're grandfathered.
okay. Secondly, I took a ride over there and looked through the facility. There's some comments here that it needs, tuck pointing. Have we received bids for tuck pointing on it?
No, because we weren't going to do that because we were looking at this new facility. So why do the tuck pointing, spend that money if we're going to do a new facility?
But yet we're replacing the fuel tanks.
Yeah, well, that's a different story. That's,
Were they leaking? Or-
they're 40+ years old, single walled, well outside their warranty. So we are doing all of our tanks actually across the
Okay.
site.
And then there was a comment that there's some electrical breakers that don't work properly.
Correct.
Do we have a maintenance staff that could take care of that? Just
Yes, we do.
So I would question why they're not being taken care of.
Well, it might just be the breaker, but there's more to behind the breaker. But again, if we're not going to spend the money, I'm not going to spend the money on a big electrical overhaul thing if we're going to do something different.
Well, it's
Switching out the breakers is just one thing.
well, that's what it said. There was 3 or more breakers that don't, I'm looking for it on this list.
Yeah, so they avoid those breakers.
Why don't we just have our staff electrician fix them? It's not, the electrician's a fixed cost. Is our
Well,
maintenance
it's
guy.
our maintenance department that does it. I mean, we could put a work order in there, but again, if we're looking at something long-term, why do the short-term dollars?
Well, I'm looking at a safety aspect or a fire aspect if the breaker's not working properly.
I will address it with the maintenance department, to see if they're safe, if they have
And I
safety
don't,
concerns
I
with it.
mean, I would think, the tuck pointing's a maintenance deal. And I doubt we have tuck pointers on staff, but we should try to keep these buildings in good repair all along. Rather than, we're gonna replace it in 20 years. Back to the 10 acres, have we gotten a survey on that showing if there's any floodplain in there?
We do have a survey and there is no floodplain on there.
There is no floodplain, okay?
So
And-
if I'm correct, right now, we're authorizing the contract for the acquisition of this property, correct?
Correct.
And we need to do, you're saying we need to do this because, I'm sorry, I'm jumping in there.
No, you're fine.
You're saying we need to do this because it's it's available. We
It's
have,
available, yeah.
The need to move some stuff.
Yeah, the need is there to expand the facility and we don't have the need. We
So
don't have
our
the
drivers
availability
aren't
now.
all over when it's snowing and whatnot, correct? If I got that right?
I'm not sure about the last statement.
Spread
but-
us out so that we're not leaving from one spot and trying to cover the entire county.
Well,
Well, Moni has its own zone, so we're always going to be in the Moni facility. Now, whether we need to add more trucks or if a truck breaks down and we need to pull a truck out of cold storage where it should be in warm storage during snowplow operations, that is
So would
addressing.
we be keeping both sites?
Not for my purposes. Now, if the county wants to do something with it, that's their prerogative.
So the deficiencies in the existing site, which Mr. Oxley was referring to, the electrical, that building is going to be gone?
That will be up to the new owner, whether they want to keep the building and do those modifications or they want to demo it and do something completely different. The new owner might not want that commercial industrial facility there. They might want residential, they might want commercial. I don't know.
see, and this is a list that were submitted to Jim and I about things that we're going through. They mentioned that you don't have the room for it. You have to interchange snow plows and lawn equipment. Well, and I'm just looking at the total cost of a new facility, which is how many millions?
We're estimating 15 for construction at the moment.
15 million.
Yeah.
Just for construction plus land acquisition.
Correct. And architectural site engineering beyond that, which is another million or so, yes.
So where is that money coming from? Is the question.
From our road funds, our various sources of road funds. We've been accounting for that in our programming. A mixture of motor tax, county option, RTA.
So you have this money set aside already in your budgets?
It will be in the 27 or 28 budget. The construction of it will be, yes.
So you have the money set aside for it, or you're gonna ask for it in the 27, 28 budget?
Well, it's in our multi-year plan we set certain dollars aside every single year. So you don't budget 27, 28, but it's in our multi-year plan. We're accounting for that, pulling it out of our road funds so that it's not already spent.
Okay, because I don't want to see another increase. Everyone got their tax bills yesterday, and there's no happy campers about that.
No, I know those are out of the funds that the DOT receives, not through, I think what you're referring to.
Right.
Not out of the highway levy.
I don't understand, Jeff. I'm new in this.
I understand.
You know, I'm just asking to be asking
Yep.
and no. I mean, we're reading from a list of questions that were submitted to us. the tuck pointing, the fascia repair and the electrical repair, I think can be taken care of by our maintenance staff. I mean, obviously the tuck pointing, I know, I don't know. I don't think we have that staff on site, but I would think we would keep these facilities in good repair so that the other side of it is, you know, we're not taking a loss on it at the end of the road. You know, because somebody's gonna make us a lesser offer to purchase that property if it needs tuck pointing and the electric's inefficient. And on the electric side, the inefficiency is one thing, but the fire, the safety of it is another issue that I'm concerned with. So I would think that someone would put in a work order to get that fixed immediately and then get a bid on the tuck pointing and bring it back to us and see how much it costs. It may not be as bad as we think. It may be, and I don't even want to throw a number, it may be 2,000, maybe 102,000.
No, we
Then
can
we'll
have,
have to
we can definitely
decide.
have staff investigate that. It's just with the electrical, I understand what you're saying completely, and we can look into that. The tuck pointing, again, we had talked about it in the past, but we weren't going to look into it until we knew if that building was going to stay or not with the future owner. So-
Yeah, and again, I don't know that we need this new facility or not. I mean, you're talking expansion. Is there room to add on to the existing pole barn? There's a pole barn to the south of it that we could add a lean-to to that for storage of equipment.
Not for our sized equipment, no, there's not enough room to do that.
Okay,
The grade changes also of the site don't allow for that.
pardon me?
The grade of the site, I mean, if you looked at that pole building, here's one end, the other building, the ground is down here, so
Right,
it's not level.
yeah,
There's just not enough room to do anything more on that site.
okay.
Was there anything else?
Nope.
Okay, I'm gonna turn you off in case you like talk to me. Member Costa.
Just picking up from some of the questions that you asked Chair Freeman, what are the options for the current facility if we were to put in a request for acquisition on the new parcel? And is there any long-term planning around what happens to that? Are we selling that land? Is it going to be, is there a need or use for other areas?
I've inquired of a
Department?
few people, like namely the Forest Preserve District, if they would be interested in the facility. They said no.
Okay.
I've asked the Village of Moni, since it's in their municipality, if they would want it, and they said no, actually, because they're building their brand new facility immediately south of this property, so they don't have a need for it. I mentioned that to the executive's office in one of our monthly meetings a month or so ago, saying, I don't have a need for it for the DOT. Now, maybe there's some other departmental need. I don't know that, so
Yeah.
I guess they'll look at it and probably maybe the space needs analysis might look into that. I don't have an answer for that.
Do we know if we were to maintain the current property and do all of the upgrades necessary, we're still without all of the space needed to hold the trucks and all of the other equipment. But if we were to maintain the property and the salt shed, do we have an estimated amount for how much that would cost us? In comparison to, I understand we've got 17.8 million to do the whole site development, but that is for either, I guess, either option, right?
Well, the only thing I identified that we would do is what Member Oxley was mentioning, the tuck pointing and the electrical. There's no other upgrades we can do. I mean, we could look at a new heating system for the main building and the floor. If we're going to keep that heavy equipment in there, the floor will only last a few more years before we have to address that. So there might be some expenses there. I don't know what that is.
I'd
It-
like a comparison of what the expenses for maintenance would cost, plus I understand as far as efficiency and getting to all corners of this area in Moni, when, that work is needed, it would be great for us to have a larger parcel of land, but I'd like to be able to compare costs because growth isn't always the option, but I see why we're asking for this. And the fact that there is land available, it's something for us to consider. I'm just undecided on whether it's the right decision.
So if I'm correct, part of the problem is we can't expand where we're at.
Correct. The building and the facilities there cannot be expanded.
So even if we fix the facilities and upgrade it, we still would need more space.
Yeah, the current equipment still cannot be completely housed within the existing facility.
That isn't available where we're at.
Correct. And if we add another truck to that system, which this zone has 7 plow trucks, the others have 8 or 9. I might have that number off by 1. It's 1 less than all the other zones. So at some point, it's probably due for an additional truck driver at some point, we don't have the storage capacity to put that in there, keep it under warm storage. So it's maxed out right now.
What about the space to the north of the masonry building, Jeff? How much room is there between the building and the north fence? It appears there's a lot of room there. I don't.
There is some green space, but I'll have to double check if that was fed by the well or the septic system that might have been there before the village utilities. So
Okay, so it was well and septic there. Now we have sewer and water.
that I need to check on.
Okay.
That would
'Cause it looks like there's a lot of room there that we could put a building there for cold storage.
But I need heated storage for the salt
So we could,
for trucks.
yes, okay. So we could heat it even, but I'm just looking at, 17 million versus how much could we save if we utilize the existing space and upgrade to what we need to? There's got to be some cost savings there.
But long term, are we talking if that's a good use of the money? I mean, of our resources? Because we're talking about where the zone is now that's maxed. And this area out there is a lot of agriculture right now, but the road is out there network is going to expand, especially with Wilmington Peatone, the east-west truck route that we're talking about from Crete. A little more lane miles. We're going to be managing a lot more miles over the next 10 years or so, or even the 25 that we're talking
Right.
about.
I'm just,
So we want to position ourselves well when we can. And now that land has become available in a really good spot, that's why we're really looking at it now.
understand. So along with Member Costa, if you could bring us back some costs to repair and upgrade, and then possibly a survey, or how much room, how many more square feet of storage do you need? And how much room do we have at the existing facility if we could fit something in there or not? Where the former septic was, if we could tear it out and build a building there or not? I mean, there's a lot of room there. I don't know the dimensions of it.
Jeff, before I call on Member Berkowitz, is there a time frame? Do we have time to?
Time frame is how much the owner wants to wait.
Okay. Member Berkowitz, you had a question? and you're
Thank
next on the
you.
queue.
Jeff, the existing site, is that in unincorporated or is that municipal?
Municipal.
Municipal, okay. Do you have an estimated value of that property if we were to sell it?
I do not.
An idea? Okay, so that would be the next step. When this is approved, the acquisition, you would then enter that step of.
Well, sell or
Yeah.
position for some other departmental needs, sheriff's
Okay.
department or where that might be.
Is there a need for a department of the county to go into that parcel, or can we sell it?
I don't have that information.
Okay, because we've got that new complex over there. I thought we had sufficient space.
For the sheriff, you mean?
Mhm.
Well, the sheriff has their over in Crete, they have a little substation.
Okay.
I'll let them decide whether it's substandard or not. Some others might have comments as to that facility out there, if it's really functional or not. So maybe this would be something for them. I haven't reached out to the sheriff's department, but that's not really my position to do that.
Okay. How long will it take to construct the new facility you need if you were to acquire that parcel?
I would estimate a design of a year and build anywhere 27 or 28 would be the build.
Okay. Looking at everything that you've provided us, a 4-acre parcel is really, really, really small. Especially like I look at our municipality and the facilities we have. That's not even allowing us room to grow. And Will County is just growing. So I would encourage everyone on the committee to think about this, because if we wait too long, we may lose the opportunity to purchase this parcel. And I don't see how we can pinch pennies and try to modify a 4-acre parcel and meet the growing demands in the county in the future. So thank you for bringing this forward.
What is the size of parcel that we're on now?
We're on a 4 now. We're looking at 10, which is comparable to our other sites, is about 10
Okay.
acres.
Thank you. I'm just going to go around the table. So Mr. Richmond, you are next.
So just a quick question. Are those how much were the fuel tanks and are they installed?
Each site is roughly 700,000. The hole's dug, the tanks are on site, so they'll be complete within 3 weeks.
So do we have to install them?
Yes, because the old tanks are not there.
So $600,000 or $700,000 sunk cost in the property.
Yes. We started that gas tank modification
like a
before
year
the
and a
site
half.
became available, so it wasn't really a consideration at the time,
Okay.
but
All right,
Yep.
thanks.
Member Trainier.
Thank you, Chair Rich. Freeman. I hear, you know, people talking about growth in the county. The county has a border. It's not getting any bigger. The number of lane miles may increase, but it may also decrease. I don't think every municipality is as, I don't want to use the wrong word. I don't have another word, as greedy as Bolingbrook in terms of taking county roads over. But I do know, because we've heard this plenty of times in land use, that many of these municipalities have this 1.5 mile buffer zone, plus other future plans where they're going to be growing and taking over more space. So my assumption is that we're not necessarily going to grow in terms of our need for county road maintenance per se. I maybe stay the same, maybe get a smidge bigger as we widen, you know, because you're talking about, as we just heard in the last committee, between Airport and Romeoville Road, we're going to make that 6 lanes potentially with the 2050 plan. But I also know, like I said, some of these roads just get sucked up into municipalities, at least in my neighborhood. That's what I'm familiar with. I don't know what things are like on the eastern side of the county. I kind of look to my county board members over in that part of the woods to let me know, but I don't know that we're really going to be growing that much. And so if there's any way we can reuse the existing property by throwing 3 or 4 or 5 million at it, it's got to be less expensive than 17+ million for a new building. So I definitely would like to see us explore all the options, and maybe we can get the facility needs people really focused on this particular project, so that, you know, we have those apples to apples comparisons that Member Costa was talking about. So we really know what we're looking at in terms of cost. That's the only thing I want to know.
I
'Cause
do.
We're going to have to pinch pennies big time.
It's going to be a big thing, but I also know that, as Jeff just said,
It's a dedicated fund.
he's got, if he gets one more person, one more truck, he can't.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have to look at that too.
yeah, we use every drive aisle space and nook and cranny to store the trucks in there during the winter months. If there's a truck that breaks down in the middle, you can't get it started for some reason, we got to haul it out of there because it's sitting in the way of something else that needs to get out of there.
Right, but that's going to happen for 3 or 4 more seasons regardless, because this building's not going to be done till 2027 or
true.
2028. So
We got to start sometime is all I'm going to say, but.
don't disagree, and I know it's your money, we can't use it for other needs, like we can't use it to pay for Medicaid.
Yeah.
You know, should we get, you know, poked and all of our money disappear on the Medicaid front.
That's a good point.
But
too.
Yeah, I was just a comment
again,
on your,
there's so many road needs, so.
road assessment of the lane mileage. We do
Yeah.
increase every single year.
We do.
We keep track of that and we do increase. A lot of it is up where we're doing the ad lanes. And the municipalities themselves, just because they might grow their municipal boundaries, does not mean they take over our road.
Okay.
I don't anticipate any of the municipalities in that area taking over any of the highways that intersect
Okay, good.
in that area.
No,
It's just not the kind of the nature.
okay.
That's a kind of a different makeup than, say, Romeoville or Bolingbrook, where they're more, it's definitely a different
More
feel.
urban. Yeah, no.
More urban.
Absolutely. And that was my concern, that I just don't really know that area of the county. I've driven out there many times to look at solar projects, et cetera, et cetera.
And as the
Go
Crete
shopping
Moni
for
truck
plants.
corridor comes to fruition and the alignment gets set on the ends, we may have increased mileage there. I don't think the municipalities are going to want to take over where we're proposing some of those alternate ends. And if the airport happens, that's a bigger deal.
Yeah.
So just affords us the greater ability to expand in the future. We're not going to build a full build out right up front. We're going to build it for what we need now with a little cushion, and then allow that space for the building to be expanded as this one is not able to be expanded.
And speaking of that, is it going to be city water and sewer? I think we talked
It is.
about this, yeah.
Yep, there's a water main that runs through
Yeah.
this site and.
We don't have to
water.
make any space for septic. Okay,
No.
thank you.
Member Ogala has popped up, but I do have Mr. Balich, which is on our committee, so I will go to him. Give me a second, Mr. Balich. There you go.
You know, I kind of agree with Jackie, which is unusual, but she's got a point. Why go out and drop another $10 million on something that we don't, it's more than 10 million, you know, and when you look at the cost of the land, it's kind of expensive for, you know, what they're trying to charge. So, I mean, I got a lot of problems with a lot of stuff. What Mr. Oxley was bringing up, it makes a lot of sense. You know, so, you know, I think we should just renovate what we have and not go out and blow all that money.
Member Ogala, give me just a second. You turned yourself off there.
Thank you. Because a lot of questions came up after we learned about the DOT wanting to purchase this property, I was asked by my caucus to go out there, look around and say, live right there and take pictures, which I did. I also have previously worked for the Will Township Road District, so I've driven the equipment that these guys drive and everything, and I looked at the space needs, and honestly, for me, I don't think that they can build out at all anymore on this location. The trucks are really tight inside the garage that they put them in. And so moving in and out, of course, I mean, you can drive the trucks really well, not hit anything, but I think that it would be a great advantage to Eastern Will County to have this new property purchased. And if Jeff has been planning for it and he has the funds for it, I think it's good to move. My opinion would be that it's good to move ahead with it. They're totally landlocked on every single side of the property with either there's commercial south of them and then residential to the west and to the north, and you can't go east because there's a road there. I just think it'd be a great opportunity for us to take this and purchase this property. The access points from the road that they would be on would be much easier for them to maneuver in and out. Plus, it gives them the capability of storing their equipment there. And especially, like I said, Jeff has the funds for it with MFT. He can use it for this. Then I think for myself, I think it would be a good purchase.
I agree with you.
Thank you.
I do think Mr. Oxley.
I'll go last.
Okay, go ahead, Julie. He's going to you. There you go.
Thank you, Chair Freeman. What I agree, this is a great opportunity. This is where these operations should be located. It's just a better fit in this new parcel. And I don't feel that sinking money into trying to modernize the existing facility is money well spent. At the end of the day, we will be throwing that money away. The needs in the county are not going to decrease, and the needs in Jeff's department will not decrease. The need for equipment, the need for personnel. I can tell you in my district that our Will County DOT, they have stepped up and come in to assist municipal roads, township roads, in cases of emergencies or situations. Our people have been there. It may not be their road, but they're there. When they need all hands on deck, we've got a lot going on. We've had accidents, we've had all kinds of scenarios. And so there's that intergovernmental piece, and we're an important part of it. And so I believe we need to give him the resources that he needs to have.
So he can do his.
Right, do his job and allow our people to go out there. And I get very, very good compliments and comments regarding all of the people on Jeff's staff. And we've got a great reputation because we do our job and the community knows that. So I have a lot of confidence in the proposal that Jeff brought forward, and I encourage you all to support that.
Thank you for
Thank you.
sharing. Mr. Oxley?
Yes, there's no question about performance of the DOT or anything of that nature. It's just money well spent. What's most efficiency? You know, we've asked for a need for space analysis, less roads. That's awesome. And Jeff's planning for quote unquote his side of the job, and we have to plan for the other side of the job. There's two sides to this. He's doing his job by planning ahead and looking forward to what he needs, what DOT needs. We have to look forward to, do we need to spend this money for a new building or increase the facility or the size of the facility is at? We have to look at, is there space on the north side where the septic system was to remove that and place a building? Could we save that money or not? That's our job. Jeff's doing his job. As far as the intergovernmental agreement, that's great that they all cooperate. We have to look out for what we need and plan for the future as Jeff is doing. So that's up to us of which way we're gonna go, because there's two sides to this coin. That's it.
Member Bullock?
Having lived out in that area, the more plows we can get is always going to be better. It is like, I mean, you don't go anywhere when it snows out there because
Save money.
it's, no, they're still out there clearing the roads, but, I think the bottom line is what you're saying is that the facility is not large enough and will not allow you to grow what you need to grow out there. And
Correct.
there is no land other than septic, which we don't even know if it's accessible or not.
We don't know the size.
Yeah. And I just don't see why, when we're talking about how quickly things change, we're saying that we would rather put the money into updating a 4-acre parcel than the ability to actually build something that the community needs and will only enhance the services that we can provide. And I appreciate that you are budgeting for that. I get there's two sides to the coin, of course. But having had personal experience out there, we can't act like it's all just farm fields out there and there's not a lot they need because there's not a lot of home growth, but there is home growth. Because I know I've gone out there and I've been like, wow, this is an entirely new section of houses. So it is going to grow out there. And I would rather give you what you need than try to retrofit you into something that is no longer helping. So
I think the biggest thing is that he's already said it's already in their budget. It's not like he's going to be increasing things. It's there. So I think that's something we have to keep in mind. Mr. Brooks?
Madam Chair, we have in our hands a 2-page Q&A from PW&T. Questions were asked and a long, lengthy definition of the question.
Correct.
Jeff Robinson have gave us a very good overview of why this facility is needed. The representatives that live in that district also came and told me they took pictures and they also agreed it should be needed. I don't see any other doubt right now, Madam Chair, to move it forward because I think it's a big price, but I also think it's a good investment in our county. So I think we all support it. Thank you.
Thank you for your opinion. Are there any other questions? Okay, we've had a motion and a second. I think we should probably do a roll call on this one.
Axley,
Would you read the motion, please?
I'm-
Would you read the motion back, please?
Yeah, I'm getting there. Hold on, my wonderful tablet went off. It is authorizing approval of the form of contract for the acquisition by the county of certain parcels of real property situated along Governor's Highway and Hellman subdivision in the village of Monee.
What is the price on that?
It's just the acquisition of the property.
545,000 all in.
And the appraisal was how much?
That was the appraised price.
That was the appraised price?
Yes.
Okay.
And so we're not voting on the addition of the building, we're just
Right,
at the
just purchase
acquisition of the property.
No.
Balich,
No.
Brooks,
Yes.
Bullock,
yes.
Costa, Freeman.
Yes. So what do we do with a tie?
It's a tie.
It passes. It
Wait,
doesn't
no.
pass.
1, 2, 3.
Okay. So
3-2, right?
is there a way to ever bring it back?
3, 3.
At another meeting.
At another meeting? So maybe Jeff, if you could get us the information that they were wanting
I'll
regarding,
bring up those questions you're talking about and
yeah, maybe
we'll see where we're at.
try
There we
to
go.
bring it back and,
All right.
all right. Julie?
Because we're talking about an acquisition of a parcel, now that this has been failed, it's very well the sellers may just exit the contract and the land is not available. This is a time-sensitive matter. Can this be brought to the executive committee? So it could possibly be reviewed this month? Or are we stuck now?
Since it
another month.
Failed here, I'm not sure. I would have to,
Oh, that's a question.
you would have to come up, sir.
Oh, that's a question.
Otherwise, this is going to push it to next month. And, like Jeff said,
Yes,
it's
we
possible
we
the
understand that. Hold
land
on.
won't be
Yeah, but
available.
if you recall the conversation, it was on the market for 2 years, it was taken off the market.
So Mr. McGrath,
And of course, it's all a crapshoot. We
Mr.
know that.
Hold on, Mr. McGrath. Can you explain how that we could move this forward? What are our options?
Well, it would have to be brought back at another meeting. I don't believe you're going to be able to do it in this session because the vote here was to move it on to executive to then move it on to the county board for approval.
And it failed here, so it does not
Yes.
go to executive.
Yes. So it's going to have to be done in a different form. That's what I would
Would
recommend.
have to be a different
A different, I
resolution.
don't want to say a different motion. You're still going to be talking about purchasing the property, but it would have to be done in a different way than it currently.
Can they make a motion to bring this to the next executive committee meeting?
Well, anyone can make a motion to do anything.
Okay.
What I'm
So we
saying,
can have a motion and a vote.
Do you want me to-
well, you've already voted on it and it didn't pass. So
So if someone on our committee made a motion to revisit again in executive, can we do that legally?
well, it would have to be on the agenda, number one. So,
The agenda's already posted.
You're not on.
right.
We can't bring it.
Right, that's right, yeah, I left that part out. In my head, I knew it's already posted because and there's no way to change it now. So,
Okay. So it's
That's
not,
why I'm saying-
nothing will happen until next month.
I don't see how it could.
Okay. So thank you, Julie. Member Costa.
So while the motion failed here, I don't think that it's dead. I think that there is an interest to collect more information so that we can do a cost comparison. What was presented to us was that this parcel of land had been on the market for a couple of years now. It was not sold. It was not even like on the market being advertised. My sense is that this parcel of land will still be available a month from now if we consider differently. And there are members of this committee who are wishing for more cost comparison information, land use comparison information, so that we can make a sound decision going forward. And I believe that we've got the time to do that, and we've got a process to do that as well.
I totally agree.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, so that ends new business. I have no other new business. Oh, yes, I do. I promised Jim, he could have someone answer his IT questions.
So I just wanted to bring up a couple things. I know we've been working with Granicus and Minitrack, and I'd like to get an update on that because I sat with them before and let's see, they had people on maternity leave, somebody had vacation, somebody had the sniffles. I don't know what.
Is there
else is going
anyone
on.
here that can answer the minute
No.
track questions?
Because
Okay,
it's a pain for staff.
We
so-
have someone here. His name's Mr. Chucky.
Okay.
Right now, we're moving forward
Okay.
with the implementation of what is called One Meeting through Granicus. We should be up and running. Jackie Rogers, our new operations manager, has been working with Granicus and she's been working with staff. We're training our staff as well right now. We should be up and running with the entire system by July. At this point, right now, what we're doing is we're preparing simultaneous agendas with Granicus, just so that the transition is smoothless or is smooth and seamless.
Yeah, I mean, I heard that a year ago from them. I mean, at some point in time, we got to put their feet to the fire and tell them, we're cutting off funding. You need to refund us. I mean, because we've wasted a lot of staff time. I mean, this is poor performance on their part. So, and I don't want to debate that because I know we're running long, but I do have other questions too, like the webpage. If we could get a status update on the webpage, that would be important too, because we did go out with that. And then somebody else mentioned, I think it might have been Jackie mentioned the HR payroll D365. There's a couple of them that are hanging out there. So if we could get an update, that'd be greatly appreciated.
If I could request, because I am new here, I think this is my 5th or 6th month and I'm learning so much. But if you guys have things that you know are still hanging out there, please email me and Chuck or Jackie and your questions so that we can get them on the agenda and they can be covered. I would love nothing more than to get some
It
of
was
these
a
things
same
wrapped
thing
up.
that just
Just came up
came
today.
up today. So, yeah.
Jackie had one, you had one, and then there was a couple that I had, and I think that we
Yeah.
need to get them all in the same place, and that would be our staff that's gonna
Yeah.
have to help with that.
I'll be happy to do that.
But
So,
we definitely need
Yeah.
to get that wrapped up. Thank you for bringing it up. We have another old business. I have public comment. Any public comment going once? Public comment going twice? I'm done with public comment. I have no announcements by the chair, other than if you know of something that's out there dangling, please bring it forward. Email me, email Chuck, we'll get it to the vice chair and we'll get this covered. Executive session, I don't think I have a need for. Can I get a motion for adjournment? Motion Costa, second by Brooks. Our next meeting is scheduled for June 3rd, 2025, and we have finance coming right up after this. What?